Hello everyone, welcome back to Colin's Code. Today we're going to be talking about Docker and doing a comparison of virtual machines versus Docker containers, and then I'm going to be getting into a live demo using Play with Docker, and we are going to be deploying OpenFaas, and we are also going to be deploying HaxCMS in a Docker container. Anyway, let's talk about Docker and how there's a comparison of virtual machines versus containers, and why containers are a better option than virtual machines. So with virtual machines, you need to have the following: the host hardware, so the infrastructure behind the machine, and that's the same thing with containers. You need to have some sort of hardware that your host operating system is going to run on. So we have the host operating system on both sides here. But then with virtual machines, we have a hypervisor that's going to be able to run our virtual machines. And each virtual machine requires a guest OS. With a container engine or Docker, all it needs is just the Docker engine, and then it can run the apps directly. It doesn't need that guest OS. Okay. Now each of these, the guest OS and each container, will have its own binary files and libraries, but with the virtual machine, you actually need the hypervisor and the guest OS, so that just adds more computing power that is required, and just overall, containers are a lot more lightweight because it doesn't need that hypervisor and that guest OS. So containers will tend to be less resource heavy. It won't eat up as many resources, so companies don't have to pay for more hardware. So overall, containers a lot more lightweight, easier to run, and easier for developers too, because they're faster to spin up than virtual machines. It's not like you have to rebuild a full virtual machine. Cross compatibility is another big thing. So as long as your application can run on the Docker daemon, it can run on any system that has the Docker daemon installed. Now, if you're doing it on a virtual machine infrastructure, you might have a CentOS virtual machine, you might have a Windows virtual machine, and then you might have an Arch Linux or an Ubuntu or virtual machine, and some of those won't be able to cross over. Maybe a different version of Python or a different version of Java. It doesn't have a compatible library. With the Docker daemon, it can run any Docker container setup, Docker Compose setup, and it can be cross-compatible. Another big thing with Docker containers is dependencies. It's very, very easy to manage dependencies with containers because you can list them all out when you're building your application. So dependency management, a big thing with Java. It just makes it a lot easier with containers. So let's get into our demonstration now. I'm going to open up Play with Docker and then click Start here. Okay. And we're going to click our templates here, so this little wrench, and we're going to make one manager node and one worker node. So on our manager, let's do a git clone, and we are going to do that git clone github.com/ and then the account name, which is OpenFaas. So we'll clone that, and then while that's going, we are going to pull, this is from DockerHub, we have the HaxCMS, and we're going to copy the Docker pull command, and let's paste it in here, and that's going to begin pulling all the images for that. Alright, so let's change our directory into our Faas here, and then let's do the deploy stack command, run that, and it's going to give us some stuff here. So here is our password, our admin password, which we're going to copy. Let's open up port 8080 here. Okay, we're going to let this load. There we go. Admin, and then we'll paste in our password. And now we're going to open Faas portal. Let's deploy a new function. Fidget, deploy, and this is going to, let's open up a new command prompt here. And let's do curl, and I'll pass it my name here. So Fidget is actually just going to pass back ASCII, like ASCII art. Let's see. And let's do space, and then let's paste in our URL. So we're using a curl command. We're passing in some text here, and we're saying, okay, spit us the ASCII back. hit enter, and very quickly it hits that API endpoint, passes it this text, and gives us an output just like that. Okay, cool. So now let's take a look. Let's go to our worker node here, and let's go and start up our Docker container. So we'll say Docker run, we're going to say name, I'm going to name it HaxCMS. And we want it to detach, so it remains running in the background. We're going to pass it in some port numbers, and then lastly, we are going to pass in the image, which, there we go, and then it's going to boot up that container. Okay, so let's open up a new tab here, and or we can just copy. I wonder if I can just do this. Probably not. No. Okay. So we'll click that. That should, oh, there we go. Perfect. So we'll copy our password here, and let's hit access HaxCMS. Okay, while this loads, I'm going to pause this. Alright, so I couldn't get the Play with Docker to end up running, so I have Docker actually installed on my PC here. So I'll show you, I just ended up running the HaxCMS image on my laptop, and I was able to get it to run. So see here with the Docker Labs is not working. Here I'm on my local host, and it seems like it's working, so let's give it a test here. So there we go. Sweet. So now I can just create sites. And yeah, so we'll do the learn theme, create your new site. Perfect. Cool. So there's HaxCMS, very easily to deploy. I can show you here. I have it running. Let's docker stop, and then HaxCMS. Alright, so I'm telling Docker to stop HaxCMS, and if I try to refresh this, I am going to get nothing. Yep, there we go. So that's just how you deploy HaxCMS and OpenFaas in Docker Playground and on a native Docker daemon. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for web components.